Afternoon. My name is Miguel. I have two good friends with me today.
Hello, I'm Robert Wagner.
Hi, I'm Arti.
And we're all part of the data integration team at Microsoft. So data integration, that's a pretty esoteric name. What does our team do? We actually enable data connectivity and experiences to connect and reshape and transform data across a variety of products within Microsoft, including Power BI, PowerApps, Logic Apps, Flow, analysis services, the common data service for apps, and the upcoming Power BI data flows, as well as Excel. We also the team who owns the common data model. And the gateway, of course, it's a huge critical part of that story because it's the one that enables connectivity to on-premises data sources from many of these cloud services. This session, we're actually going to give you an overview of the on-premises data gateway, and we'll also talk about some best practices and recap on the recent features we've released, some of the deeper technically complex features like high availability, load balancing, single sign-on. We'll also cover a little bit on the roadmap of what's coming. Before we actually go deeper into the session, how many of you are already using the gateway today? Okay, quite a few. So that's hopefully we'll have some best practices and good things for you to learn today as well. Let's talk at a high level about the on-premises data gateway. So it's the agent and the component that enables access to on-premises sources from all of these cloud services, including many of the ones I mentioned before. How many of you are already using Power BI? And how many of you are using Azure Analysis Services? And what about PowerApps or Flow? Okay, Logic Apps maybe, Power Query Online maybe through Common Data Service for apps. Okay, how many of you feel like you're in an aerobics class right now? Right? That was my goal. Well, so from all of those services, you can actually use the gateway to get to on-premises sources. The gateway and the cloud service that's backing up this gateway with all of these services is the one that takes care of managing connection credentials and encrypts them in a very secure way and protects access to just the gateway and the pieces that need to access them. Communication between that cloud service, that gateway cloud service, and the on-premises component that you need to install for the gateway is done via Azure Service Bus. This is a one-way secure communication just meant to be used for the purposes of these workloads. It's not a full-on, bidirectional VPN or anything like that. But then once you reach that on-prem agent, the gateway client component, it is the one that will actually establish the connection with each of the data sources that are configured on-prem. So just a little recap. The gateway is not a general purpose bidirectional VPN. It allows outbound traffic only. You can actually install it on any domain joined machine. It's a Windows component, so it has to be a Windows machine. And enables access for data and API connectivity. So think about it as it enables access to the data. How you actually end up consuming that data is orthogonal. So it doesn't matter if you're viewing a report or if you're actually creating an app or if you're looking at a dashboard or whether you're doing all of those activities in the web or in a mobile client. It's just about the data aspects of it. It's not the last mile visualization and user interaction. We use Azure Service Bus as a way to communicate between the on-prem and cloud. This is actually internal implementation detail. We don't expose the concept of a service bus to you as the user of a gateway or the admins. You don't need to worry about setting it up, managing it, or getting a license to use it or anything. It's all done automatically behind the scenes by us. And this is done in the spirit of making it super easy for you to configure the gateway and just get going and using it without a lot of configuration steps. Of course, the gateway has to be up and running for the connections to go through it. Otherwise, you will end up getting errors like gateway not available or communication broken and so on. With that, there's a few management capabilities. We'll actually cover many of these on the demos, but think about it as there's two main modes in the gateway. One is the personal mode, which is meant for single user use. That's very simple to configure. It's just credentials. This mode is only available for Power BI. And then we have the enterprise mode, which is meant to be a way to share connections where a given slightly more advanced user, a gateway admin, will go and configure the gateway and register a specific set of data sources, and also which users should have access to each of those sources through that gateway. And then the other users will be the ones publishing reports or creating apps and dashboards that would be able to connect through that gateway to that specific data source. It's kind of what I was describing here. So on the personal mode, the other noteworthy thing is that it only works for import with scheduled refresh capabilities. Direct query-based reports would have to work through the enterprise mode. And in terms of which services support which mode, the personal mode is specific to Power BI. All of the other services and products support the enterprise mode. With that, let's go into a demo that Arthi is going to show us, working through the installation and the management experience for the gateway.
Okay. Let me get the demo set up quickly. So, okay. During this demo, we'll actually try to understand the setup and the configuration process of the gateway. So since most of you are familiar with Power BI, let's just start with Power BI, where you have an option to download software. And there are multiple options out here, so you could select Data Gateway. And this takes us to a page where there's more information about the Data Gateway and also some documentation links here. From this page, you're able to download the Data Gateway. Let me actually take you to where, so this is one of the first questions during the download installer asks, is basically if you want to install the on-prem gateway or the one in a personal mode. And based on your requirements, of course, and based on all the positives and negatives which Miguel was chatting about, you would choose one of these. And I picked the on-prem data gateway, and I installed it just in the interest of time. And this is where the installation is now successful, and it's asking me for the email address to use for this gateway. So let me just type in my email address. It's now going to authenticate me. Okay. So on this page now, it's asking for a gateway name. So let me actually type Ignite 2018. The next option here is whether I want to add this gateway to an existing cluster. So a cluster is basically a group of gateway machines which act as a single unit to actually benefit from features like high availability, load balancing, etc. So right now, let me just create a new cluster, and let me enter the recovery key, which I'll talk about in a second. So the recovery key is something you could use when you need to recover the gateway in case of a system crash. It can also be used when you want to add a specific gateway machine to an existing cluster. So so now the setup has gone through, and we have configured the gateway. Let's just go through a few options and features available here. So in the Diagnostics tab, we see an option for additional logging. So for slow performing queries, you could turn this on and actually look at the details of the logging collected and be able to troubleshoot what is the root cause for the slowness of the query. Similarly, there's another option down there for network port test, which would enable you to check if all the ports which the gateway requires, the gateway is able to connect to. One more interesting option. So in the network tab, so the gateway actually connects using TCP/IP to the Azure Service Bus. But if you wanted to actually force it to use HTTPS, you could do that using this option here. So let me actually move on to the Manage Gateway page next. So So the Manage Gateways page, you would access from the settings in the Power BI tool. And since we just created a gateway, this should show up here. Yeah, okay. This gateway is now ready online and ready for use. So let's just talk about these three options in the gateway section. So the first one, gateway generally is not required for any cloud sources you connect to refresh any of those. But let's say you create a mashup of a cloud source and an on-prem data source, then you could use this gateway to refresh that specific query. And that's this first option here. The second one is basically allowing custom connectors to refresh through this specific gateway. And the third one is related to load balancing, where you would distribute requests across all the active gateways in the specific cluster. So let me just select and then apply. The next piece which you would configure is the data source. So we would do an add data source, and you could give it a name, and then these are all the supported data sources we have. For instance, if I selected SQL Server, you would then add a server name, database, and an authentication method, and then your credentials. So this will be the credentials that get used when the report connects to the end data source. So so you could create data sources also from manage data sets also. So let's just do that. So in the data set, so this is a pre-created data set which I have, and let me actually go in and look at the gateway here. So the new gateway we created is now showing up here, but it says it's not configured correctly because the specific data source is not on this gateway. So let's just go ahead and add it. So the server name, database name is pre-populated for us, and then we would just add the credentials here. And just click add. So once this is done, we could go back and then select the specific gateway for this data set. And also then this allows us to schedule refreshes for this data set and so on. So that concludes my demo. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. So with that, let's go back and walk through. Let's walk through what you just saw in this demo. And so we started with installing a gateway, right? So the gateway is at the bottom part of this diagram. And so Arfi just configured the gateway. She sent in with her account. And what's happening is that that gateway basically establishes communication with that cloud service that manages all these gateways. As part of this, we also automatically configure this Azure Service Bus relay channel. So there's a dedicated channel for each gateway. Nobody else can talk to this channel. It's all encrypted. And so that channel is always associated with that gateway. And ultimately, the cloud service manages the security around this communication. And also, we automatically provision that. We monitor that. So you don't have to worry about how we are ultimately monitoring that infrastructure. It's just all provisioned, and you don't have to do extra licenses. So that was basically step one. Step two was she configured the data source. And so when you configure data source, we basically also verify the credentials of that data source, because we want to make sure that maybe you mistyped the password or so. So we'll actually use this particular communication channel already during the configuration of a data source to validate and test against the particular, let's say, SQL Server database or some other on-premises source that we can actually connect to that particular data source under the credentials you provided. Those credentials are encrypted. Now, when you install the gateway to begin with, there's actually a set of encryption keys that get generated automatically by that gateway, and those are the encryption keys that are then used. And there's symmetric and asymmetric encryption involved here. Ultimately, in a nutshell, what's happening is the credentials that you provide in the UI, as you type it in the browser, those credentials are already encrypted inside the browser with the asymmetric key of the particular gateway. Because as you navigate to the particular gateway management page, basically the public key of that gateway is known to that UI page. And so anything you type in terms of credentials is already encrypted in your browser. And so as those credentials even pass through this channel to the on-prem gateway, nobody along this channel can actually decrypt, because nobody has the private key. Only the actual on-prem gateway has the private key. And so once the credentials are validated, that they work for that particular connection, the pre-encrypted credentials, basically pre-encrypted with the public key of that gateway, are stored in the cloud service. And there's a reason why we're storing this in the enterprise scenario, because as soon as you join then a second gateway into this cluster, all the data sources that you configured, you don't have to worry about how many gateways you have in a cluster. There's just one central management for these data sources, and as soon as you add or modify settings on a data source, it applies to all the gateways in the same cluster. And so thereby, we basically, by saving also these pre-encrypted credentials, we can use them across all the gateways that participate in cluster, even if you join them later, if you remove gateways and so on, it just all seamlessly works. Now, the next step here is, let's say one of the cloud services that is supported, Power BI as an example, right, or PowerApps, you have some action performed by the user, right? You look at a report, you filter certain values in a report, or you have a Power App, and the Power App wants to write to an on-premises SQL Server database. So that ultimately triggers a request that that particular action triggered by the user wants to reach that gateway and perform a read operation, a query, or perform an insert and update, delete. And so ultimately, that data movement service in that picture is coordinating, okay, is that gateway online? Is one of the gateways in the cluster reachable? It will ultimately pick a gateway to route to that request. And to do that, it basically needs to get also the proper keys so it can talk to that channel. Because again, the channel itself is secured, and so nobody else can talk to the channel, and any process within the cloud service that wants to talk to the channel basically has to get the proper keys to really have that one request go through. Now, so this was step 4. On the on-prem side, the on-premises gateway, it knows its particular channel that was established during the original configuration, and it just keeps listening on that channel. And so as a request, in this case, let's say a query from Power BI, is sent through that channel, the on-prem gateway in real time picks this up. Keep in mind that this particular service bus channel, there's no buffering going on. So this is really real-time communication. So if one of the two sides is not listening, okay, it will not work. It also means that, the gateway pulls that request, gets this in real time. It also ultimately takes those credentials, those were already pre-encrypted, only that gateway has the private key, so it decrypts them and uses those credentials to connect to whatever was the source that is requested, goes and executes that request, and then streams back the results, again, through that same channel. And so with this communication pattern here, we can really get very low latency. You can do direct query requests. I will show a demo later where those things ultimately run in real time through this channel. The channel is really optimized around low latency. Also, it's actually optimized for two, separate scenarios. One is the live query, direct query scenario, where you want interactive user experiences that run as quick as possible with minimum latency introduced. The other one is you may have some big data models that you have imported data, and you want to refresh that, And you may be moving gigabytes and gigabytes of data as part of a long-running job. And so there's also optimizations done around this communication channel and in the on-prem gateway to compress the data so that actually the data that goes over the wire is a lot less than what is the raw data volume, because often that outbound connection from your on-premises environment to the internet, to the cloud, may actually become a potential bottleneck in this. And so we're using compression to basically use the channel as efficiently as possible. And so let's talk more about what kind of connectivity options exist, particularly in Power BI. And so this really goes back to where does the data live, in the cloud, the source of the data, or is it on-premises? How do you connect? I mentioned already there's an input mode. There's also a direct query mode and live query mode. And then also, how do you refresh? Do you use the personal mode or the enterprise mode? And so in terms of the supported sources, you briefly saw in the demo, there's a longer list of supported sources. I included the link where you can always get the up-to-date list. And also, as you update and upgrade to the latest versions of the gateway, we keep adding support for additional sources. There's lots of the popular ones in there. But you also see that you can use ODBC drivers, so third-party ODBC drivers you can plug in. You can also plug in OLEDB, as well as, and then at the bottom, custom connectors. And so there was also a session earlier today where there was a deep dive on, okay, how can you build custom connectors? How can you use them, for example, in Power BI Desktop? How can you also plug them into the gateway and ultimately use those end-to-end? And so when you refresh your data, right, there's really two main modes. One is the import mode, the other one is the direct query or live connection mode. And so I listed here the differences between the two based on certain criterions. I will not go through the full list. I think some of the key things to think of and decide what is the best for your particular situation. When it comes to direct query, it really means that any interaction that users are doing, let's say in Power BI, clicking on a dashboard, filtering a report, sorting data, changing how you group the data, all those things result in live queries against the underlying operational data system. And so your underlying, let's say, SQL Server database or Oracle system and so on may be designed to handle that, or you may not, or you may have situations where you don't want that, potentially heavy analytical workload running against your operational systems. And in that latter case, you may want to consider, okay, maybe you want to use the import mode where you just take snapshots of data, including there's also the incremental refresh option where you can incrementally add, maybe on a daily, you have some partitioning scheme of your data and you bring in additional partitions, which basically just brings in the latest data on top of the original data snapshot, and have a certain frequency to it of how frequently you want up-to-date data.
And just a quick reminder to everyone, the session is being recorded and the PowerPoint deck is being made available online. So for those of you who are taking pictures of the screen here, you'll also get a chance to take a much better resolution picture of your laptop with the same slide on.
Thanks, Miguel.
No worries.
Very helpful tip. And so for the other areas, when it comes to direct query, it doesn't really data stored in the Power BI service versus with the cache data. Okay, you always have a snapshot of that data available. With that snapshot, it's served up through Power BI, so it doesn't impact your operational sources. And Power BI has a built-in in-memory database, so it's very fast in dealing with and very much optimized around these analytical workloads. In terms of data sizes, because in the import mode you cache data, okay, there are certain ultimately limits that are being applied in the Power BI service. I listed the limits. Keep in mind this is about compressed data. The typical compression ratios that we see on average depends on your data, but on average we see compression rates of factor 8, factor 9, and so this is basically the compressed limit, so you can have a lot more data really as raw data in your data models. When it comes to security, I will dive a little bit deeper on this later. With imported data, you've effectively taken a snapshot of that data, and you can design and create your security rules on top of that. With the direct query mode, where things are delegated to an underlying system, we also have ways of how we can do ultimate identity transition and single sign-on, where whoever is the user who looks at a particular dashboard and the data they see really depends on the permissions that that particular user has in the underlying database. And I will get back to that in a few minutes. So let's dive deeper. And just to set the context, I mentioned already, there is a way of defining your own security rules and predicates that you want to do on top of imported data. And I have a link here that has a tutorial that goes into more details. But there's also the option of leveraging the security rules defined in the underlying data source. And so this is supported today for what we call as the live connection mode with SQL Server analysis services on premises, as well as with analysis services in Azure. We also support this with direct query for a number of different data sources. And so in this picture, just at the high level, how does this work? So imagine you have a dashboard that you share across multiple users. The users view that dashboard. When the user logs in the browser or on the mobile device and views that dashboard, we know the user is authenticated with an Azure Active Directory identity. Now, if this is configured for single sign-on, what's happening underneath is, and I show a screenshot of that configuration option. I will also show it live in a moment. What we know is, okay, we need to run a query against live systems that sit on premises, and we can transition that identity from Azure Active Directory to an on-premises Active Directory using Kerberos. And so that does not require necessarily that you have to synchronize your on-premises Active Directory with Azure Active Directory. We can also do it even without synchronization. There's more details on those configuration options with links that are embedded in this deck of what you need to configure. We have currently, in terms of availability, we have this working for SQL Server analysis services, SQL Server, SAP HANA For SAP HANA, what we have already released is the single sign-on with Kerberos, and we will soon release single sign-on with SAML for SAP HANA. Then Teradata, Impala, and then Oracle and SAP BW are things that we have in private previews right now. So if you're configuring your environments already, right, single sign-on with Kerberos for Oracle or SAP BW, you're welcome to talk to us afterwards and exploring the private preview as well. And so these are just the links for how this works. There's also a link to a video that basically shows a more elaborate live demo for this. But what I also want to show in this session in particular is single sign-on to SQL Azure in the cloud. And I basically want to show how simple this really is. And so for that, let me switch over to the other machine. And so I'm here in Power BI. And so what you see is I basically have a data source configured. It goes against the SQL Azure database. I basically said, OK, I want as the credential option, I want OAuth 2, which is really just that the user's Azure identity should be flowing through to my SQL Azure database. And the most important part is selecting this option, which basically says that, OK, any reports, dashboards that I create here that I will share with other users, those should run under the identity of that user, right? The user may be viewing this through the browser, through a mobile device. We just want the seamless, right, identity transition. So if I'm the person who created, right, the dashboard, who created the reports, and I share this with my entire organization, I'm basically the one who just configures these options. That's it. That's all I did. I don't have to worry about anything else. And so let me switch back. So I've configured this. Let me switch here. Right, this is my dashboard. It's basically, right, sales data of our fictitious AdventureWorks company. Right, we're selling products in different areas. I'm my identity, so I'm running this as myself. So you can see this here, right, in this browser. I'm signed in as myself. I'm looking at, right, total sales. I'm looking at sales by product lines. If I drill into the report, right, I see some breakdown by product categories and so on. So that's, right, an interesting dashboard. I want to share it with some of my colleagues. And so I'll share this with Miguel. Just takes a second. Also share it with another account. And there are the options down here that basically say, do I want these recipients, right, to share and reshare ultimately that dashboard with other users? Right? And so Miguel, I know, always likes to share lots of things with lots of his friends. And so I'm like, OK, well, maybe I don't want him to allow to reshare. So
it's fine. I'll take a picture of my laptop and publish that on my Facebook.
OK, well, never mind. Maybe I should remove his access altogether then. And so here I'm signed in under a different user in a separate browser instance. So let me just refresh. Oh, it actually updated already. So basically, I got the notification here that somebody shared with me just seconds ago this dashboard. And so if I'm looking, right, so here I'm a different user. I'm looking at the same dashboard to the same data source, and yet this particular user does not see, right, what I see. The reason is in the SQL Azure database underneath, I have security rules defined that basically say this particular user, well, they have certain permissions in the database. In this case, they're only allowed to see ultimately bike-related sales. They're not allowed to see anything else, right? So I have a single dashboard, single report, just one configuration. I shared it, and that user just sees whatever they're allowed to do. If I go into the SQL Azure database and change the security rules, OK, this will be taking effect here. So that way, I can really ensure that, OK, everybody just sees exactly the data they're supposed to see. And if, for example, Miguel somehow still finds a way of resharing, not just through taking pictures, but if I happen to give him the permissions to reshare the dashboard, and he shares it with somebody else in the company who doesn't have permissions at all, right, they would get notified, yes, this dashboard has been shared with you, but if they click on that dashboard, they would actually see basically just an empty dashboard telling them that, OK, you don't have access to the underlying data source. And if this was maybe a mistake, right, that person should have had access, well, as soon as the administrator of the database gives permission to that person, the dashboard will update. So really from the person, right, who creates the content, I don't have to worry about any of this anymore. I just focus on, okay, what is the content, and I leverage all the security that was defined, right, maybe by the database administrator, maybe by the owner of the database. And so now this goes further, and let me resize the windows here so you can see both windows simultaneously, right? If I'm as the original owner of this dashboard, I go in and say, well, this particular list, right, looks interesting, so let me pin this to my dashboard, right? Even as I make changes to my dashboard, it still reflects, okay, this is my permissions. I see all the data, right? This is the permissions of the other user, and they just see, okay, the details of exactly what they're supposed to see. So with that, let's switch back. All right. And so now, let's say you have configured, right, your single sign-on across all these sources. The dashboard becomes really popular. You have more and more users, right? The dashboard used direct query. So every click, right, on the dashboard ultimately resulted in, right, live queries running against the system. And so you did this all maybe on a little gateway that you had on a little machine, right? And there are certain limits to it. And at some point you realize, well, maybe you need, right, it becomes really popular, you need to do more with it. And so with that.
And then I take over and I have the power to actually define high availability and load balancing. So think about high availability as eliminating the single point of failure risk. For example, if you had all of those reports and dashboards being served through a single on-premises data gateway instance, and that instance went offline, or you were upgrading it, or something like that, you know, the machine goes down, it would just break all those reports. The refresh would stop working, direct queries would cause errors. So for that, we introduced the notion of high availability clusters. So now, rather than having independent gateway instances, you could actually configure a cluster with multiple instances, multiple gateways on different machines, and would have a single consistent experience to manage adding data sources to those gateways, granting users access. And then at the time, back to the architecture diagram that Robert showed earlier, at the time of a request coming in through Azure Service Bus, it would actually be distributed to the next available gateway within that cluster. Furthermore on that, we actually enable also, so in the case one goes down, it will be distributed to the next. We also enable load balancing capabilities. Load balancing will also try to equally distribute the traffic across all of these gateways. So if a gateway, even though it's online, but if it's actually busy, it would be sent to the next gateway as well, and it would just create that load balancing scheme. We have basic load balancing in place right now. And we have some ideas for more sophisticated load balancing strategies. If you've tried load balancing and if you have feedback on how we could improve it, we'd love to have a chat later at the data integration booth in the expo area, or after this session we can chat. We also have PowerShell commands to manage many of these capabilities, particularly around clusters, so retrieving the list of clusters available, which gateways belong to which cluster, whether they're online or offline. You can enable and disable a specific gateway. So for example, you could say, I'm going to disable this gateway in this cluster because I'm going to take off the machine to do some upgrades or patches and then bring it back online later. You could also use these PowerShell commands to delete the gateway. And we're working on more additional administration commands and APIs that will be coming over time. Extensibility and custom connector support, we actually covered this in the previous session on Power Query, but last year we released a Power Query SDK that allows users to build custom connectors that they can use with Power BI Desktop. Earlier this year, we enabled support for those custom connectors through the gateway, both enterprise and personal modes, and both import and direct query capabilities, so that you could actually complete the end-to-end with those custom connectors. We have a link to learn more. I'd recommend you to actually check out the recording from this morning's Power Query session where our good friend Matt Mason, he did an excellent demo end-to-end of showing the configuration through the gateway and running on direct query mode for some of those reports. Best practices for how to configure and manage gateways.
Yes, thanks, Miguel. So let's start with where to install the gateway, right? And so our recommendation is that you should start with an 8-core machine, right? If you know already that, okay, this is going to be, right, an enterprise gateway used for lots and lots of different workloads. Now, even if you started, let's say, on a little desktop machine, with the recovery mechanism and the recovery key, right, you saw Arfi type in during the initial installation of a gateway, she provided a recovery key. And so that one is actually very important because it will allow you later to, for example, install a brand new gateway, but instead of setting up a standalone gateway, you could say, I want to take over on this other machine where I'm installing the brand new gateway, I want to take over all the settings of this original gateway. Now, this may also be useful if, I don't know, let's say you have a hard disk crash on the original machine, the hard disk is not recoverable. You don't have to worry about, okay, what were all the data sources, right, dashboards, applications that were dependent on this gateway. You simply just go to a new machine, install the new gateway. You saw how quick this was. It's just a few steps, signing in, right, basically providing then the recovery key, and you have to, basically you have the gateway up and running that takes the place of the original gateway. And all the traffic just immediately switches over. So you can really, even in the case of where you didn't have a cluster, where you had multiple gateways available for high availability, even in the case where you only started with one, you can take this over, and the new hardware specs on that new machine, sure, maybe then you move to a more powerful machine. Now, an alternative is that you just could join an additional gateway to this existing cluster. But generally, we do recommend that you use certainly mission-critical gateways on relatively powerful hardware. Now, how much, what actually the load depends on, really depends on the kind of characteristics of the queries and so on. And so in the case of direct query workloads, where everything is generated as queries at runtime, delegated to the underlying data source, those tend to be relatively low load on the gateway itself because it acts more as a pass-through. It may do single sign-on handshakes and so on, but the gateway itself doesn't have to do that much work. But when it comes to imported data sets, and all the transforms, you may do very complex transforms, you may be merging from multiple data sources, that can actually cause quite a bit of CPU load because ultimately those transforms need to execute somewhere if the underlying data sources are not capable of performing, I don't know, filters, sorting, and so on. So if you take a CSV file, as the data source, a CSV file sits in a file system, we allow you to do all sorts of transforms on top of CSV, the same way you can do the same transforms on top of a SQL Server relational database. In the SQL case, all those things are translated to queries, and SQL Server will do the heavy lifting. In the case of a CSV file or an Excel file and so on, this is all automatically compensated for by an engine that we have, and that engine is hosted inside the gateway. And so that engine will need memory and CPU. And so I think the best thing is really just, okay, you try out your different workloads, you monitor the gateway for CPU, for memory, and then as workloads grow, okay, you have different mechanisms of how you can ultimately adjust the sizing, the capacity that you need, either by bringing that gateway to a different machine with this recovery and takeover mechanism, or you just turn it into a cluster and you just keep adding more machines to it. Now, on the network communication, this table here is really for reference. The key points that we made earlier is the only communication that the on-premises gateway does is outbound. So you don't have to open up anything in your firewall. The gateway doesn't have to run in the DMZ or anything. It can run on any machine, really, as long as that machine has access to the internet to particular URIs. And there's even a mechanism, we didn't show this in the demo, but there's a mechanism in the gateway configurator where we give you a diagnostics list of, okay, for this particular gateway that you installed, here is the list of IP addresses. If you really need to narrow it down that much, here's the list of IP addresses that gateway needs to communicate at runtime to have basically this, the minimum set of IP addresses to have this communication working. In terms of the modes, there's TCP mode and there's HTTPS mode. And ultimately, it's listing, okay, those particular ports. The TCP mode tends to be faster. That said, in practice, it really depends on your workload. There's usually not that much difference. The HTTPS mode is pretty fast as well, but you could switch it to HTTPS mode, at which point the only communication is really for free once the gateway is configured and nothing else at runtime. If there is any kinds of errors, issues with it, you need to do diagnostics, the logs of the gateway are really, I would say, the first thing to look at. And so from the configurator, you can just go to the diagnostics tab. This is a slightly older screenshot. There's actually more options now in the current product where you can just click on the link and we'll basically package all the log files into a zip file onto that local machine. You can look at them. You will find very detailed error traces in the gateway log. Those error traces do not go up anywhere into the cloud service. the gateway is installed in your environment, in your machine, so all the detailed logs will never leave that machine, right? They are in those log files. Now, if you open a support case, the support engineer may ask, right, to take a look at the log files, right, and send it to the support engineer so that we can then also review some of it. But basically, as it is, Microsoft does not have access to any of those logs. So they're really just on your gateway, and you can certainly look at them, and it helps you really diagnose certain connectivity issues, right, or other issues. I've touched on this already a little bit. This is really just a recap, right, of how does disaster recovery and restore work. It's all based on that original recovery key that you typed in when you installed the first gateway in a cluster. That same recovery key is not only used for restoring the gateway on somewhere else, right, maybe the hard disk crashed and so on. It's also used, right, when you want to join additional gateways to that cluster. So from that perspective, the clustering of gateways is a much more lightweight mechanism than compared to Windows clustering. Right? You can just have a complete variety of hardware. Right? Those gateways can just, right, there's no connections between the machines. It's a very loose coupling, and clustering gateways is basically an operation that takes 2 minutes. Right? You just go in, you install a new gateway as part of the installation. Instead of saying you install a standalone gateway, you join an existing cluster, you provide the recovery key, and within 2 minutes, it's all configured, up and running, and you have immediate high availability. And then with the option that Arfi used in the configuration, where it said also automatically distribute traffic. Okay, as soon as you set that, it will automatically distribute traffic across all the gateways in the cluster. And so with that, I'll hand it back to Miguel for the roadmap.
Yep. So one more key point about the recovery key. You guys should really keep it in a safe location and not lose it, because that's the only way you'll be able to recover gateways. Another good practice we didn't call out in this list, but whenever you create an enterprise gateway, add a secondary administrator or even a security group, so that to account for cases where the admin leaves the company and then the gateway becomes unmanageable because nobody else has access to it. So add secondary groups or security groups as the secondary admins for gateways. Let's talk about what's coming for the next few months. We touched base on custom connectors already, so the next steps there is to actually make certified custom connectors, which today work transparently from Power BI Desktop. They get automatically loaded. Make them also automatically loaded into the gateway, so you don't need to separately download that custom connector file and deploy it manually. On the single sign-on front, we saw a demo on the Azure SQL AD. We are investing on SAP BW Kerberos-based single sign-on. And you saw that we already had SAP HANA single sign-on through Kerberos. We're adding support for SAML-based delegation as well. In terms of new data sources, BRK, which has been available as a Power BI Desktop preview connector for a few months, it's getting support in the gateway and the service, and it's actually going to go generally available within the next few weeks. In review, we have about 2 minutes left, so hopefully we achieve on all of those goals that we set up. We gave you an overview. We showed you a bunch of setup, configuration, management, best practices. We deep dive into single sign-on, security, high availability, load balancing, debugging, troubleshooting, and we talked about roadmaps. So with that said, we'll take questions on the microphones, so they get recorded on the streaming and the videos of the session. And thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.